Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Wise Guys Sports Betting Show right here on the Picks and Parlays YouTube channel. It is Tuesday, April the 30th, and like every Tuesday on our show, my name is Ross Benjamin, and I'm joined by my esteemed guest. And yes, you guys are esteemed, Mr. Sean Higgs and Mr. Jesse Schule. And again, I called Sean handsome on one podcast we did earlier today, and I'm calling him esteemed on the other. So, I'm really not trying to kiss your behind, Sean. I'm just trying to give you confidence, buddy. So how you doing?
That's what fat, ugly people need, Russ. I appreciate it on Tuesday morning. Thank you.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter if we're fat and ugly in terms of sports betting, because as long as you win, nobody cares what you look like, So, yeah, you could look like Elephant Man. If you're on a good roll, they'll buy from you, and they'll be a big fan of yours. So, in any event, my other esteemed colleague, Mr. Jesse Schule, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I will correct Sean, though. What fat and ugly people need is black clothes, because everybody looks good in black.
And they need a lot of love. Slimming. They need a lot of love, and that's why I'm giving you love, Sean.
That's my Friday shirt. The Friday polos for Friday. That's Black Friday. Monday, Wednesday's going to be a white polo shirt. Today's blue.
I wasn't calling you ugly, by the way. So, in any event.
It's all right.
All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes here. First of all, picksandparleys.net is our site. You can go to get all our premium picks, and we'll go through how each one of us has been doing of late and what we got coming up. And also a great special right now at picksandparleys.net. You can get any two handicappers for the price of one on a 3-day package. Is $99. That's two of your handicappers by your choice. You'll get each one of their selections for 3 days for just $99. And it's quite simply put, you just go to picksandparleys.net /2-for-1. You see it right there on the bottom of your screen. Take advantage of that offer, folks, because there's a lot of great handicappers over at picksandparleys.net. I like to think that our favorites might be one of or two or all three of us. So hopefully that's the case. In any event, Jesse, things since the calendar year turned to 2024 have been absolutely marvelous for you. And fill the folks in a little bit about not only what you've been doing in 2024 and the money you're making, everybody, but also how you've been doing of late in any specific sport. And I know you got some hot streaks with your MLB totals and in your top plays, and let it rip.
All right. Well, we got two nice streaks being tested today. Both of them are rather unbelievable. So if anybody doesn't trust what I'm saying, they can hit up Detroit Lenny on Twitter, and he'll show them the proof, the graphics, the back end. 14-1 with my last 15 NBA top plays, and 11-1 with my last MLB or last 12 MLB totals. That totals run dates back to last season. Those streaks are impressive. But I was looking at another streak that I advertised in one of my play titles a couple days back. 55% for a profit of 30 dimes with NBA totals. You want to know how far back I was going with that? Any guesses from anybody?
2021.
10 years.
10 years. Wow.
10 years, 55%, 30 dimes. And people will say, but 30 dimes isn't a lot of money. Well, I don't know, man. You bet on NBA for 10 years and walk away with 30 dimes. I think you can call yourself a pro if you can do that.
Yeah, and how could people get your autograph?
They could send me $100 bill in the mail, and I promise I'll sign it and send it back to them.
Yeah, and then they'll have to pay the shipping charge to Thailand, and then it'll end up being a $200 autograph, and Jesse will send you that with his gray vest on, his notorious gray vest, and his cap. And again, Jesse looks like he's well awake today because his cap is on straight. Usually when Jesse gets tired, the cap goes up a little bit. But in any event, Mr. Higgs, we don't want to know how we could get your autograph or pay for that, but we certainly want to know why they should buy your picks. And I know there's plenty of reasons why, and who better talk about it than you?
Yeah, having a winning NBA, NHL, MLB season. NBA's been hot. NBA's been my best right now of late. So 5 in a row, 11-4 last 15. So that's a nice little run there in the playoffs. Again, a little more selective, not a lot of action in NBA. But when I put them out, they're cashing. And I've hit a hiccup on the ice. It's been cold cash because it's been ice cold. I can't catch a total. I can't catch a total on the ice. But it is what it is. We'll bounce back tonight. I got some hockey tonight ready to rock and some Major League Baseball. So you know me, I always find something to sink my teeth into and put out a winner for us.
Yes, you do. All right. Myself, been red hot in the NBA, folks. It's all documented right there at picksandparlays.net and several other portals across the internet. The only difference might be a game or two because I'm not able to put in picks on NBA team totals. But those have been few and far between anyway. But last night I had a winner at picksandparlays.net on the Lakers Denver game to go under 216.5. That now makes my NBA totals on a perfect 11-0 run. Also NBA overall on a 21-4 run. That's 84%, folks, all documented. NBA playoffs since 2022, just postseason, I should say, because it includes the play-in tournament. And regardless of what the NBA says, it's postseason, the play-in. And so since that time, since 2022, 92-52, 64% with my NBA postseason picks since 2022, and includes 16-4 this year. So again, folks, you can get 3-day pass for $99. Any two handicappers, put myself with Sean, put myself with Jesse, put myself with both of them. Whatever you want to do, I'm going to make you some money, and so are they. So there you have it, and we'll move on to our free picks. And we're going to cover all 3 NBA games today. We're going to start with Mr. Higgs, and he's going to be looking at the Indiana-Milwaukee game. Right now, Indiana's a 4-point favorite, and the total in that game is 216. And Mr. Higgs, you're well aware of, Indiana has won the last 3 games in the series and now is on the cusp of closing Milwaukee out, but they're going to have to do it on the road. Do you have a side or a total, or is it something else you want to address?
Yeah, side-wise, do I think Pacers wrap it up? Sure. Total-wise, you don't know what you're going to get out of Milwaukee, although we think the Bucks probably hit their team total. I might use that as a play. But here I'm going to go a little player prop action with a little Mr. Tyrese Halliburton. 34.5 looks a little high to me here. You look at his numbers for the series here, 32, 44, 28, 24. And the 44 was in an overtime game. You need a triple-double to get there. So, 34.5 looks a little high when he's averaging somewhere, about 24. 28, 16, 16. I'm no math guy, but that's brings me down to about 20 points per game or 20 PRAs per game. I'm going to throw out the triple-double because he gets some skewed numbers that way. So this looks, I'm going to say at least 10 points too high or 10 number too high here. I'm going to go under the Halliburton PRA 34.5.
All right, Halliburton under PRA of 34.5. That's points, rebounds, and assists combined. And Jesse, it makes a lot of sense, even when you consider the fact that he was questionable going into Game 4 of this series. So I'll go out on a limb and say that he's not at 100% right now. And when he is, I would say 34.5 would be a reasonable number to go after, him being a point guard and a really adept 3-point shooter. But what say you, my friend?
Yeah, he's really struggled since the All-Star break, to be honest with you. He was really filling up the box scores in the first half of the season. Then after the All-Star break, his production just went into the toilet. I think he's failed to get to this number, or not even close to this number, in both games in Milwaukee. And like Sean said, the only game he went over this number was an overtime game. Here in a elimination game, I think it's I look for players like Siakam to do the heavy lifting, and I think Halliburton doesn't have a great chance to go over this number. So I think the odds are certainly in favor of the under here.
Us 3 did a show earlier today, and I'm not going to mention the network because that would be disrespectful and unprofessional. But on this game, we all agreed on one thing, the Indiana team total, which right now is 109.5. All 3 of us, Sean specifically, like the over 109.5. And Sean, like I said, and I'll share with the viewers and listeners right here on Picks and Parlays YouTube channel, is it's hard to go under a total of 109.5 with Indiana. Number one, they're the leading scoring team in the NBA, averaging over 122 a game. You brought to everybody's attention their team total has been somewhere on the average of around 113 since the postseason began. But boy, oh boy, I know this sounds redundant because you guys have heard it from me time and time again, but a lot of the listeners out there on this channel haven't. I just think Indiana shares the basketball better than anybody in the NBA. And also, they're so underrated when it concerns overall athleticism as well. Again, I make it sound like they're a lock to win the NBA championship, but the downside is their defensive play, which I think will ultimately be the thorn in their side. But anyway, Sean, your thoughts on what I just spoke about?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Pacers, I think we've talked about it here as well. We like the Pacers to take care of business in this series beforehand, before the injuries, the points they score. That's how they play. So yeah, I mean, I'm not good. There's nothing to add to that. It's something we've talked about multiple times already doing this video.
Yeah, as shorthanded as Milwaukee is, Jesse, I don't see them as being an easy out tonight.
Well, and the odds makers don't either, Russ.
Yeah, I mean, you consider that Giannis has been out for the series. We all know that, and then you lose Damian Lillard, who had a monster game one, Milwaukee's only win, actually a monster first half in game one, scoring 35 points. He's doubtful for tonight, and then you had Bobby Portis thrown out of game four for a flagrant foul. And who am I missing? Chris Middleton, who's been very good in the series, Jess. But, again, he tweaked his ankle in the last game. He came back in and was effective. But, again, I can't imagine he's 100%. And if that's your main focal point, you shift your defensive emphasis that way. So what's your take here?
Yet they're still, a 3.5-point dog here?
Yeah.
And everybody's betting the under on the total. And like we've all said, Indiana, they play fast. They score a ton of points. So if you're betting the under, are you thinking that Milwaukee's not going to score any points against the 28th ranked defense in the NBA that gave up over 120 points per game in the regular season? By the way, Milwaukee was below average as well defensively. It just seems odd to me. It seems like the people betting the under in this game seem to be influenced by the fact that the games in other series have been going under, where we've seen 3 straight easy overs in this series. And I'm struggling to see that changing here.
It's mind-boggling because, the Pacers play at a very up-tempo type of style of basketball, and they'll pick up the pace, and they're very good at getting teams to play faster than they want to, and they're more than willing to take 3 punches to give one kind of thing, for lack of a better analogy. So, again, I agree with you guys, and let's move on to our next game. Jesse, it's pretty good series right now. The Magic and the Cavaliers, the series is tied at 2-2. This game goes at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Right now, the Cavs are a 5-point favorite. The total in this game is 201.5. And, Jesse, the home teams are 4-0 straight up in ATS in this series. All 4 wins by the home teams have been by double-digit margins. Does that trend continue here, or is there something else we should be looking at?
Well, I don't think we should try and reinvent the wheel, Ross. This looks like a home team spot. They're coming off back-to-back embarrassing losses in Orlando. They were dominant at home in games 1 and game 2. But I'm going to go back to the well with a favorite of mine, betting on a team when the series shifts back to the other city and they're coming off either 1 or 2 embarrassing losses. I like them to get off to a good start. So I'm going to look at the Cavs minus 1.5 for the first quarter. If we look at the first quarters of games 1 and 2, we'll see that the Cavs led 33-26 after the first quarter in game 1, 30-16 after the first quarter in game 2. And the Cavs actually won the first quarter in Game 4 as well, but went on to lose the game by a double-digit margin. So I like the Cavs to get off to a good start after being embarrassed in Orlando. And I think it's a reasonable price for a first quarter bet as well in this current situation.
Orlando, a much better home team than they were on the road this year. A lot of that has to do with their youth. And again, coming out of the gate, can't disagree with Jesse here, Sean. You know, the emotion of the home crowd, the urgency of the matter, because Cleveland certainly doesn't want to go down 3-2 and have to go back to Orlando and have depend on a win to stay alive. Not to say that can't happen, but again, there's going to be high emotion in the building, and you got to believe the Cavaliers are going to be amped up to get out to a very good start in this contest. Sean?
100%. I mean, you lose by basically 30 the last two games, you get your doors blown off. You got to come out here and make a statement home. We've seen this. And again, it's not really like the old zigzag kind of series theory where it's like, oh, you got to come back on a team that loses here and there. It's just you play bad basketball. You want to come out and redeem yourself. It's pretty simple. Now you're home. The last two times at home here, both teams, no one could score 100 points. You expect them to D up here. Totally different team, Orlando on the road. You're scoring 125 at home. You're scoring 92 on the road. Yeah, Cavs first quarter. Great look, Jesse. Like it.
I think if you told the Magic they'll be down 2 after the first quarter, they'd take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I think if you told the Magic the series would be 2-2 after the first two games in Cleveland, they would sign up
Be happy as
in
well.
bold ink in very large print. So, all right, let me get to my game, which is the 76ers and the Knicks. Right now, the Knicks a 4.5-point favorite. The total in this game, 202.5. I'm going to look at Philadelphia's team total here, which is 99.5. And look, here's the thing with Philadelphia. As much as they played well going down the final stretch of the regular season, and at times during this series, even though they're down 3-1, they've scored 96 points or fewer in 5 of their last 8. And also, the Sixers held to less than 100 points at home for just the third time all season in the previous Game 4. And they followed up those 3 home games this season when they scored 100 or less by scoring just 93.3 points per game. The Knicks at the core, and especially with Julius Randle out of the lineup, are a very good defensive team. Tom Thibodeau has been around for a while now as an NBA head coach, and his prowess and his reasons why he was elevated to head coaching status was as an assistant. He was always in charge of the defensive end of the floor, and his teams annually have been one of the better defensive teams in the league. Look, everybody, because you're a good defensive team, you have your bad nights like the Knicks did in Game 3, allowing 125 points. I just think the energy from the home crowd, the emotion, the attention to detail tonight will be at its highest level. And to close out a series, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia 76ers team total under 99.5 here, Sean.
Yeah. Listen, bad body language and comments after their last loss for the Sixers. So are you expecting a big fight here? I don't know. I kind of like the over, though. I mean, even after last game, if you look at the other games, they've all scored over 100, except for the one game. Both teams have scored over 100 points. Although this is, again, you've talked me off of wanting to bet what I want to bet here because of everything after the fact with the Sixers. Like they just look kind of like a defeated squad, and I thought this game would go 6-7 games.
Well, Sean, not for nothing, you could win your 201.5, which is an extremely low.
Oh yeah, I mean, because the Knicks could score. This could be 111 to 94, 95. I get it. No, but you know what I'm saying. Like if I'm going, I'm thinking it's going to sail over because it's going to be like a 110, 105 kind of game.
Yeah.
But everything you say is 100% correct. It's again, that's why I like listen, folks, people want to come in and like not heed other people's advices. And, I listen to these guys. It makes you think like, all right, maybe I got it wrong. That's why we do the videos. That's what we do. We're trying
And,
to.
and even as hot as I am, I'm not going to be right all the time, and
Yeah.
there's going to be a streak where I'm wrong on several occasions. So, Jesse,
Like, why could this game could easily be the Brunson show? Embiid plays 29 minutes and it's 96-84.
yeah,
You know,
very possible. But by the same token, it could be 110 to 95 too. I mean, and I'm looking at the Knicks after scoring less than 100 points in the game, which they did in Game 4. Jesse, their history has been this season. They follow that up with a really good effort. As a matter of fact, and even allowing 99 or less, the Knicks are in their last 6 games. The Knicks are 6-0 after allowing 99 or less and winning by 23 points per game. So there you go, Sean. I mean, if that trend were to continue, if they won by 15 to 20 points in this contest, I'd like to think your over has a real good chance at 201.5. But Jesse, your thoughts?
I'm not interested in the total. I like the Knicks. I will point out that the Knicks won both games 1 and 2, despite the fact that Jalen Brunson couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And Brunson's coming off of a monster game. He's got his confidence back. Joel Embiid scored 1 point in 12 minutes in the fourth quarter of Game 4. I like the Knicks, and I like Joel Embiid under 32.5 points. I think Embiid's done. I think the Sixers are done. Stick a fork in them.
Yeah, you know what? The Knicks are a 5.5 or 5-point favorite in this game. 4 times since last year, they've been a home favorite of 6 or less, and following a game in which both teams scored less than 100 points. Again, the Knicks winning 97-92 in Game 4. And the Knicks is a home favorite of 6 or less since last year, following a game in which both teams scored 99 or less. They've gone 4-0 straight up in ATS. Their average line in those games was -3, and they won by 19.5 points per game. So that bodes well for Jesse's confidence on that pick. But in any event, Jesse, there's a like button right underneath. What do you want the folks to do with that like button? Because they appreciate the time, work, and effort we put in.
Smash that like button.
Sean,
I gotta stop with the headphone. I got like ringing in my ears. I got tinnitus.
in any event, smash that like button, folks, and don't forget to subscribe to Picks and Parlays YouTube channel. Hitting that like button goes a long way in showing your appreciation for the work, time, and effort we put into bringing you a quality show each and every week, and makes the people over at Picks and Parlays happy as well to continue the show. So until the next time, for Sean Higgs, Jesse Schule, and Ross Benjamin, take care and God bless, folks.